Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Said Dan channel. A couple things to talk about here, and there's some misreporting occurring, and actually, I think it stems from Ripple. But here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. XRP Ledger now powers Palau's native stablecoin utilizing XRP. The problem is that doesn't seem to quite be true after a recent update from Ripple Material, in fact. So, but it is true that there's to be a national stablecoin in full-fledged production outside of a pilot, utilized on the public XRP ledger. And so a lot of people have been saying, we'll also be seeing central bank digital currencies launched on the XRP ledger, and this just proof that that's the direction we're going. I still respectfully, firmly disagree, and I will articulate why. And also, the Federal Reserve here in the good old United States is talking about XRP, and they seem to actually understand that a primary use for it is for settlement purposes. Yes, the Federal Reserve is actually talking about this. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so the reason that this is even being written about in crypto media is a result of my fellow XRP YouTuber Crypto Eddie just sharing some information publicly that she found. Now, and certainly not her fault, but the information that she found from Ripple ended up being inaccurate. So to be clear, again, not her fault. She is always sharing information that she finds on everything having to do with XRP specifically, and sometimes just crypto broadly. So nothing but love and appreciation there. So in fact, Ripple could use a little bit more clarification from them, frankly, and I'll show you why. But again, this piece from the Crypto Basic titled XRPL now powers Palau's native stablecoin utilizing XRP. The Republic of Palau adopted the stablecoin project, which runs on the XRP ledger following a successful pilot involving 200 Palauans. The Republic of Palau, an island nation on the Oceanian continent, is now running its native stablecoin project on the public XRP ledger, leveraging XRP for fast and secure payments. The implementation of the project comes on the back of a successful pilot program. And I'll note that as far as this news breaking, this is actually from last November. I'm not going to read through this thing, but for those of you looking on the screen, you can see there's this Ripple blog. It's their Ripple Insights. It's their blog series. November 23rd, 2022, titled The Global Stablecoin Race is On, and they're talking about this. And I reported on it at the time, and I thought it was really cool. And it's actually being built not on a private chain, but on the XRP ledger. And that's exciting and interesting because, as I'm sure most of you are aware, there is a private version of the XRP ledger, a completely separate blockchain. It's designed as a template for central banks to develop central bank digital currency. So it utilizes the same framework as XRP, but it allows the platform to be completely centralized, separate from the XRP ledger. And that's cool stuff too, because XRP can still be used to bridge centralized coins, of course. So that's separate. But anyway, it was just neat to see that, okay, so there's a nation actually interested in launching a stablecoin not on that private ledger, but on the actual public XRP ledger. That is pretty cool, actually. But here they're citing that this comes after a successful pilot program. Not quite. Piece continues. The feat was highlighted by Ripple in its 2023 value report. The report reveals that the stablecoin project is now live following a successful pilot, which involved up to 200 citizens of Palau. Eddie, an XRP community influencer, further drew public attention to the development. And here you can see on the screen, for those of you that care to look, there's this tweet from Crypto Eddie. And part of what's highlighted here, you can see where I'm circling, this Palau case study, and this is from Ripple again. It reads as follows, in part. After a successful pilot with over 200 citizens, the Republic of Palau is launching a stablecoin, pegged to the US dollar, as that is the currency they use. Now, they also wrote here, though, that they were using a private version of the XRP ledger, which utilizes XRP as the native digital asset. Well, if you're talking about a private ledger, then it would not use XRP. XRP is on the public XRP ledger. So two things ended up being completely incorrect here. First of all, the pilot's not over. Ripple ended up updating this. The pilot is not over. In fact, I'll show you on the screen here. So this is the updated version. You can see they now write, Ripple is working with the Republic of Palau on a pilot of a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar that is the currency they use. So again, unfortunately, pilot's not over. That would have been exciting news. But they also messed up. Sorry. You know I love Ripple, but they did make a couple mistakes here. XRP Ledger is what's being used here. And so they mistakenly wrote that a private version was being used. That's simply not true. So now both of them are corrected. So I wanted to point that out because there's been all sorts of confusion in social media because of this. So now that part's cleared up. So as far as my perspective as to why you're not going to be seeing central bank digital currency on the public XRP ledger, it's because central banks want to have control over their monetary sovereignty. And if you put your fiat currency, if you tokenize that on a public ledger, you're not going to have powers to like roll back transactions, for example. And governments with centralized, a centralized CBDC, of course they're going to be able to roll back transactions and print it into oblivion and all that stuff, all the bells and whistles. It doesn't make sense to have that on the XRP ledger, and I'd be surprised if we ever saw a central bank digital currency on the XRP ledger. And so what we're talking about here with a stablecoin on the XRP ledger is not even remotely the same. So yes, it is coming from a government, so it's government sanctioned with this little nation, Palau, which I didn't know existed until last November. Nothing against them, I just happen to not. And they're forward thinking, and it's easier, there's less red tape frequently with smaller countries. So I applaud them for going this route and give them the pilot a whirl, and hopefully it ends up all being a success. It's not over yet, as far as we can tell anyway. But that's very different than launching a central bank digital currency because, as it turns out, this particular nation does not have their own currency. They use the United States, the United States dollar. So they don't need all the bells and whistles and special controls because they don't control the United States dollar. Period. The United States government controls that. The United States government prints it into oblivion and would want to have the ability, if it were a central bank digital currency, to roll back the transactions. So instead, what you're talking about is this nation actually just, yes, having that represented on the XRP ledger, but they don't have control over it either way. So whether it's on the public XRP ledger or a private chain, they still don't, they don't have any special permissions or control over the United States dollar. So it doesn't matter in this case. So it is not the same. I saw some people saying, see, we're going to see central bank digital currency. I'm like, well, I respectfully disagree. I don't think we're ever going to see a central bank digital currency launched on the XRP ledger. And if I'm wrong, great, because, more adoption for the XRP ledger. If I'm wrong, fine, I'll just eat my words. But I don't think that's remotely reasonable to suspect that's what would actually occur here. But it's just positive development across the board here. And it's nice to see XRP continue to be recognized for what it is. Look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. Atlanta Fed Reserve Bank mentions XRP as an international payment medium. That's from the Crypto Basic. And to be clear, this is the actual Fed. This is the Federal Reserve History website, and they write here, the 12 Federal Reserve banks and their 24 branches are the operating arm of the Federal Reserve System. Each reserve bank operates within its own particular geographic area or district of the United States. And so this is the Fed. It's part of the Fed. And it's just nice to see XRP recognized, in particular for this particular use case. And I take a tiny issue with part of the way that this is worded, but not much. I'll explain why. Anyway, the piece reads as follows. XRP and Ripple remain at the center of attention in the conventional banking sector, as evidenced by the recent Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta report. The Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, a U.S. Federal Reserve Bank district, recently called attention to Ripple's business model and how the company uses XRP to meet cross-border settlement needs. According to the Reserve Bank, XRP is seen as an international payment medium. These mentions are made in the latest Policy Hub iteration from the Atlanta Fed titled An Introduction to Web3 with Implications for Financial Services. The report essentially highlights the promise of Web3 and the use of digital assets. The report also underscores the growing adoption rate of Web3 and blockchain technology among public institutions such as central banks. It calls attention to Project Mariana, a proof of concept introduced by the Bank for International Settlements, the Bank of France, and other financial institutions. Now, highlighting the goal of Project Mariana, which is the facilitation of more efficient cross-border settlements, the Atlanta Fed article mentions Ripple and Stellar as two notable blockchain-focused companies to introduce cost-effective value transfers. And so, let's pause again. Like seeing this mentioned here, but XRP is so much more than what they've cited here. So check this out. According to the report, Ripple's business model involves the provision of financial services with the use of XRP. The report further notes that XRP is, quote, and this is from the Fed, roughly envisioned as an international payment medium or wholesale settlement coin, end quote. And so I like that. I'm not going to complain a whole lot here. That's what Ripple's positioning it for, but XRP is so much more than that. There are tons of developers building on top of the XRP ledger using it for all sorts of stuff. And since XRP is decentralized, there's no central authority, you can participate or not participate. And if you do participate, you can do whatever the hell you want with your XRP. And so, yes, XRP is known broadly as a settlement coin. I just want to make sure that as time passes, we just in the same breath ideal, or at least if you're writing something out, just note XRP it is. It's a decentralized cryptocurrency in this particular instance, utilized as a settlement coin. That helps to get a more accurate message across. So not that they've horribly messed anything up, it's just maybe it's a little nitpicky, but I prefer to see that being the case. And part of that, I guess, is because, having been in the space for, over 5.5 years at this point, I've seen so many times, XRP be called like the banker's coin or the this or that coin. And it's kind of frustrating because I don't know if some people are doing it intentionally, just to crap all over XRP, and some people just don't know any better. And that's easy to forgive. But XRP, it's just a better version of Bitcoin, so you can do whatever the hell you want with it. The fact that Ripple's doing something with it doesn't mean that you can't use it for anything else, though. But either way, look, I'm just saying, XRP's on the radar here, certainly from the Fed, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be used in any sort of Fed product or anything like that. That's not what this is an indication of. But it is good to see that it's recognized as something that is, it's game changing. It just is. Why the hell should they even be writing about it? So as long as adoption continues to go in this direction, I can only imagine what the future for X are going to be. I would love to just know, snap my fingers and see what the landscape looks like, just say like a decade or 2 decades from now. I'm willing to bet that XRP, way more broadly adopted and probably worth a fortune compared to where it is now. So let's just keep living on life. We'll see where that lands, right? I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.